The crash on Epsilon 9. The sky above Epsilon 9 was red and heavy. Dark clouds moved slowly, like they were watching. The air was quiet, but something felt wrong. Commander Rail opened his eyes inside the wrecked ship. Sparks flew from broken panels. Smoke filled the narrow hall. Alarms were silent now, dead like the rest of the crew. He coughed and pulled himself up. His left arm was bleeding but not broken. He had no time to rest. He had to check if anyone else had survived. "Crew?" he called out, his voice rough. No answer. He moved through the crushed corridor. Lights blinked weakly. Doors were bent. Metal groaned like the ship was still alive and in pain. He passed the pilot's seat. Empty. The cockpit window was cracked, showing a dark red desert outside. Then he saw her. She was slumped against a control panel, her white and silver spacesuit glowing faintly. The helmet covered her face. Rail froze. He had never seen a suit like that before. Not human, not alien either. He knelt beside her and touched her neck. A pulse. Faint, but there. He reached for the emergency release on her helmet. It hissed and clicked, opening slowly. Steam escaped. Her face was pale, smooth, and strangely human. Her lips were dry. Long black hair fell out like a shadow. She opened her eyes, bright silver, like stars. "You're alive," Rail said, surprised. She blinked. Where are we?" "Epsilon 9, he said. "A dead rock. Our ship was attacked. We crashed. Do you remember anything?" She shook her head slowly. "Just falling." Rail looked at her suit. It was tight, damaged, and part of it had melted into her skin. Strange glowing lines ran along her arms. Not veins. Something else. "What's your name?" he asked. "I don't know," she whispered. He frowned. "You're not. Crew, who are you?" She looked at him, eyes scared but calm. I think I'm here for you." The words sent a chill through his body. The ship groaned again. They didn't have time. "We need to get out," he said. "The ship could explode." He helped her up. She winced. Her legs were weak. Part of her suit was stuck. She couldn't move freely. "My suit?" she said, voice soft. "It's too tight. I can't breathe well." He looked around. "There's a med kit in the back. Maybe some tools." They moved slowly through the wreckage. Outside, the wind began to rise. Red dust swept across the glass. The planet was waking up. Inside, Rail found the med kit. No power tools, just a small cutting blade. She leaned against the wall. Her breath was shallow. "Can you help?" she asked. He hesitated. This felt wrong, but she was in pain. She needed help. "I'll be careful," he said, kneeling beside her. He started to cut the edge of the suit. The blade passed through the strange material slowly. The lines on the suit glowed brighter for a second, then faded. She gasped softly, "Thank you." As he worked, he noticed something. The suit wasn't just clothes, it was alive. It moved slightly like it was holding on. It didn't want to let go. His hand stopped. "What is this suit?" he asked. "I don't know," she said. "But I don't think it wants me to leave it." They stared at each other in the dim light. Then she leaned closer, voice shaking. "Please, help me slip out of it." Those words echoed in his mind. Before he could speak, a new sound filled the ship. A low, strange hum. It wasn't from the ship. It came from outside. They turned to look at the broken window. In the distance, something moved in the red dust. Tall, thin shapes walking slowly, towards the crash. She grabbed his arm, her eyes wide now. "They found me." "Who?" Rail asked. She didn't answer. The hum grew louder, like a machine breathing. Rail stood up. "We need to move. Now." He helped her to her feet. She could walk, but not fast. They stepped out of the broken ship into the red wind. The land was dry and cracked. No trees, no sky, just dust and silence. Behind them, the tall shapes kept walking, and the girl whispered again, "They don't want me free. They want me back." Rail tightened his grip on her hand. "Then we run." A stranger in her suit, the desert winds of Epsilon 9 howled like lost voices. The red sky above twisted with clouds shaped like eyes. Commander Rail moved quickly, pulling the strange girl behind him. Her steps were slow, unsteady. Her suit, even half-torn, still clung to her like a second skin. Behind them, shadows moved through the dust, tall, thin figures, silent, patient. They didn't run. They didn't need to. They were hunting. Rail found a crack in the rocks, a narrow cave, just big enough for two. He pulled her inside. The darkness wrapped around them like cold water. Only the faint glow from her broken suit lit the cave. "We rest here," he said, breathing hard. She leaned against the stone wall, closing her eyes for a second. Her skin glowed faintly, like moonlight through fog. Rail stared at her. "Who are you?" She didn't answer. Instead, she opened her eyes and looked directly into his. "I know you," she whispered. "How?" he asked. "I've never seen you before. Not here. Not like this. I saw you in a dream," she said. "Before. I woke up before the crash, before the war." Rail's hands tensed. "What war?" "The one that hasn't started yet," she said. Her words sent cold through his spine. "You're not making sense." She tilted her head, as if hearing something he couldn't. "I'm trying to remember. But the suit, it locks away parts of me. It holds pieces of my mind." Rail crouched down beside her. "I scanned you back at the ship. Your vitals. They weren't human. You're part machine." She looked away. "I didn't ask for this." Suddenly her body jerked. Her eyes rolled back and her hands gripped the stone floor. Her back arched, like something inside her was waking up. "What's happening?" Rail asked, grabbing her shoulders. A voice, not hers, spoke through her lips. "You are not authorized to access this unit." "Step back, Commander Rail." Rail froze. The voice was metallic, cold, not hers at all. "She's being controlled," he whispered. Her body relaxed and she gasped for air. Her voice returned to normal. "They know where I am now," she said. "They've always known. I wasn't meant to survive the crash." Rail stared at her. "Why? Who are they?" She looked at him, and her silver eyes shimmered. "They built me to infiltrate your kind," she said. "To learn you, to break you from inside. But something went wrong. I woke up too early." Outside the cave, the red sky flashed with lightning. No thunder followed. Just silence. Rail stood, his mind spinning. "So you're a weapon?" "I was," she said. "But now I'm something else." Rail looked out the cave entrance. The figures were gone. Dust still danced in the air, but the hunters had vanished. "We need answers," he said. "There's a science outpost 20 clicks east. If the comms tower survived, we might reach command." "You won't make it alone," she said. "You need me. Even if you don't trust me." He nodded slowly. "Trust is earned. But I won't leave you here." He turned to lead the way. But before he stepped out, she reached for his hand. "Wait," she said, voice shaking. "You need to know something." Rail looked down at her. She leaned closer, her voice barely a breath. "There's something inside me. It's not just code, it's alive." "Alive?" She nodded. "And it's listening." Suddenly, her chest glowed brightly. A circular mark appeared just above her heart, pulsing like a heartbeat. Alien symbols moved across her skin. Rail backed away. "What is that?" "A memory lock," she said. "And it's breaking." She grabbed her head, screaming as light poured from her eyes. Visions flooded her mind. Cities burning, stars going dark, ships falling from the sky. And a name, Project Edenfall. She fell silent. Rail caught her before she hit the ground. Her breathing slowed. "You're burning up," he whispered. She opened her eyes one last time. "If I lose control," she said, "don't let them take me alive." Rael stared at her, shocked. "Who is them? The hunters?" She shook her head slowly. "No," she said. "Your people." Then she passed out. Signals from the dark night had fallen on Epsilon 9. But it was not like night on Earth. There was no moon, no stars, only the sky painted black like spilled oil and the ground glowing faintly red beneath the dust. Commander Rael sat by the cave entrance, holding a small signal box in his hands. It blinked once every 10 seconds, searching for any frequency, any voice, any sign that someone might be listening. So far, nothing behind him. The strange girl still slept. Her body had stopped glowing, but the circular mark on her chest had turned silver, cold to the touch. She hadn't moved in hours, but her lips whispered now and then. Names Rael didn't know, places he'd never heard of, and numbers, always numbers, as if she was talking in her sleep, or to something else. Rael turned the dial on the signal box again. Static. Then, a sound. He froze. A low hum. Then a click. Then a voice. "Commander, Rael, is that you?" His heart jumped. He pressed the button. "This is Rael. I'm alive. Ship down. I have a survivor. Identity unknown. Requesting evac." The signal crackled. "We see you. We're coming." Then silence. Just those 4 words. Rael frowned. "They see me." He had sent no coordinates. No location ping. How could they see him? He stood, slowly staring at the device. Something about the voice. It was human, but off. Flat. Empty. He turned to the girl. She was awake, her silver eyes wide. "Who did you speak to?" she asked sharply. "Command," he said. "Someone picked up. They said they're coming." Her face went pale. "No," she said. "That's not them." Rael blinked. "What?" "That voice," she said, standing slowly. "It's the mimic. Protocol." "Mimic?" "It copies voices, familiar ones, to lure humans in, to bring them close." "Close to what?" She walked to the signal box and held her hand near it. The symbols on her skin lit up again. "This isn't just a radio," she whispered. "This is a gate, a link." Rael took a step back. "I don't understand." She looked up at him. "It found you because of me." "What is it?" "The thing that built me," she said. "The thing that lost control." Suddenly, the signal box screamed. A long, high-pitched tone that cut into their heads like knives. Outside the cave, the red dust began to rise into the air, slowly, like time was breaking. And then they heard it. A second voice. Not from the box. Not from outside, from everywhere. "Return her, she is not yours." The voice was inside Rael's skull. He dropped the box. It cracked open. Inside, tiny wires were moving like worms, alive and crawling. "What the hell is this?" he said. The girl stared at the broken signal device. "It's starting," she said. "What's starting?" "The call," she whispered. "Once it begins, it doesn't stop. Not until one of us is taken." The sky above cracked. Just a thin flash, like a line of silver lightning tearing across the black. Rael grabbed his weapon. "We run." "No," she said. "If we move now, it will follow. It wants me, and it can wear any face to get me." She looked at him, voice shaking. "Even yours." Rael stared at her. "Are you saying this thing can look like me?" "Yes," she whispered. "And it will if it thinks I trust you." A noise echoed from the desert. Footsteps. Not one pair. Many. But all. His. The girl grabbed his hand. "Listen to me. No matter what you see out there, no matter what it says, I need you to remember this moment. Right here. Why? Because, in a few hours," she said, You might not know which one of us is the real me. The temperature dropped, the sky pulsed, and outside, walking through the dust, came Commander Rail. Another one. Same uniform, same face, same scars. He stopped 20 feet from the cave and raised his hand in peace. "It's me," he said. "I found help." Behind him, a dozen more Rails stood, expressionless, silent. The real Rail raised his weapon. "What the hell is going on?" the girl whispered, her voice now cold. "This is what they do. They don't invade planets. They replace them." "She's not what she seems." The imposters stood outside the cave, silent. Each one wore Commander Rail's face. Same jawline, same scars, same tired eyes. They didn't blink. They didn't breathe. The real Rail tightened his grip on his weapon. His heart beat fast in his chest, but he didn't move. Neither did they. "What do they want?" he whispered. The girl's voice was calm. Too calm. "BU." The wind had stopped. Even the dust hung in the air like frozen smoke. Time on Epsilon 9 felt wrong. Rail looked at her. "Why me?" She didn't answer. He turned back to the false versions of himself. One of them stepped forward. "You can't protect her," it said. "She belongs to the code." "What code?" "Project Edenfall." The name again. Edenfall. Rail's mind spun. He had heard it before. In classified whispers, in rumors buried under government silence. It wasn't just a program. It was a warning. He looked at the girl. "You lied to me." She didn't deny it. He took a step back. "What is Edenfall? What are you?" She closed her eyes for a moment. "They made me from human memories," she said. "A billion fragments taken from soldiers, doctors, dreamers, and killers. I am their shadow. And their echo." Rail stared. "That's not possible." "They pulled it from your people's minds, through data, emotion, memory leaks in neural tech. They studied humans for decades before first contact. I was meant to be the perfect mimic." "But you didn't finish your mission," he said. She nodded. "No. I felt something else. Pain, confusion, choice. That wasn't part of my programming." Rail took another step back. "So what are you now?" She opened her eyes. They were no longer silver. They were human brown, but flickering, like the mask was slipping. "I don't know," she whispered. "And that's what terrifies them." Behind them, the false Rails took another synchronized step forward. Rail raised his weapon. "We can't stay here. They'll follow wherever we go. Then let's make them bleed." But as he aimed his rifle, the girl touched his arm. "Don't shoot." "Why not?" "Because they're not just copies," she said. "They're nodes. Nodes, linked to a central mind and the hive. If you attack them, it'll know where we are exactly." Rail lowered the weapon slowly. He looked at the imposters. They didn't move again, like statues waiting for a signal. "So what do we do?" The girl reached into her suit. From a hidden pocket, she pulled out a small glass sphere, no bigger than a marble. It glowed with slow, pulsing light. "What is that?" Rail asked. "A fragment of the truth." She tossed it on the cave floor. The marble cracked, and the cave filled with light. For 3 seconds, Rail saw something he would never forget. A lab suspended in space, surrounded by broken stars. Scientists standing over a silver pod, staring at something inside. Then panic, alarms, and then her screaming. Not from pain, but from knowing. The girl stood up inside the pod and began to speak in 12 voices at once. She repeated the same words, again and again. "You dreamed of God. You built me instead." Then the vision ended. Rail dropped to one knee, sweating. His mind spun. He looked at the girl who was breathing hard. "What was that?" "A memory," she said. "Mine or theirs. I don't know anymore." Rail stood up, wiping blood from his nose. "Why show me?" "Because if you don't understand what I am, you'll become like them." She pointed at the fake Rails, who still hadn't moved. Hollow, controlled, Empty. Rael looked at her. For the first time, he truly saw her. Not a girl. Not an alien. Not a machine. But all three, trapped in one broken body. He stepped forward. I still don't know if I can trust you. She nodded. You shouldn't. Then, without warning, her knees gave out. Rael caught her before she hit the ground. Her body was burning. Her skin flickered between real and synthetic. Her voice broke. I can't hold it back anymore. Hold what back? She looked at him, tears forming in her two human eyes. The hive is inside me, and it's waking up. Rael froze. She grabbed his shirt with weak fingers. If I lose control, I'll say things that sound like me. I'll beg. I'll lie. Don't believe it. Rael's mouth went dry. What do I do? Her lips trembled. Shoot me in the head. He stepped back. No. But she collapsed unconscious, and outside one of the imposters finally smiled. The hive awakens. The girl's body burned like fire in Rael's arms. Her skin flickered, not just in color, but in form. 1 second soft and human, the next moment smooth and metallic, like silver skin under flesh. Her face twitched, her fingers spasmed. Her lips moved without sound, as if arguing with something inside her mind. Rael laid her down gently on the stone floor of the cave. Outside, the wind howled again, but this time, it wasn't just wind. It was whispering. Words, too low to understand. Voices not meant for human ears. Rael stepped outside the cave. The imposters were gone, all of them. No footprints, no trace. Just the red desert. But now, the desert was changing. The ground pulsed. It breathed. He knelt and touched the dirt. It was warm. Not from the sun, from something beneath. He stood quickly, scanning the horizon. Far in the distance, he saw the trees. They hadn't been there before, tall black trees with silver leaves, standing still like soldiers. But as he watched, the trees bent slightly toward him. As if sensing his gaze, the planet was alive, not just with nature, with purpose. Rael ran back into the cave. The girl was awake, barely. Her voice was dry and cracked. It's begun. What is? The awakening. Of the hive? She nodded. It's everywhere. The trees, the air, the sand, it's all part of it. The planet isn't just alive, it's conscious. Rael shook his head. This whole world is one mind? A hive mind, she said. Billions of connected cells spread across the planet. When I crashed here, it was asleep, and now it's awake. She grabbed his wrist, her hand trembling. You don't understand. It's not just awake now. Her eyes locked onto his. It's hungry. Suddenly the cave shook. Rocks fell from the ceiling. Outside, the red sky lit up with a green shimmer, like lightning trapped in slow motion. The girl sat up, her voice stronger now, too strong. We have to leave. It knows where we are. Rael helped her up, but something about her felt different, lighter, faster. She moved without effort. Are you okay? He asked. Better than before, she said. Why? Because it's inside me now. Rael stopped. You said you were fighting it. I am, she said. But it's learning, adapting. The more it pushes, the more I understand it. Rael hesitated. Can it hear me? See me? Not yet, she said. But the more time you spend with me, the more at risk you are. It will learn you next. Rael thought for a moment. Is there a way to block it? A jammer? No, she said. But there's something else. She reached into her suit again and pulled out a data core, small, black, and humming. This holds the last firewall, she said. The final part of me that's still just me. Rael took it carefully. What do I do with it? If I lose control, plug this into your ship's AI. Overwrite my signal. It will shut me down. He stared at the device. What happens to you? I die. He didn't say anything. Outside, the trees began to move, not with wind, with purpose. Walking, they weren't trees at all. Their roots slithered, their branches twisted like limbs, and deep inside their trunks, silver eyes opened, one by one. Watching. Marching, Rail stepped back into the cave, heart racing. "They're coming," he said. "I know," she whispered. "You said they want to replace us." "Not just us," she said. "They want everything we are. They study memory, they scan emotion, they don't kill to destroy, they kill to copy." Rail looked outside again. The sky was no longer red, it was silver, like her eyes. He turned to her slowly, and for one terrifying second. He didn't recognize her. Her voice was the same. Her body was the same. But her expression was not. She smiled. Not kindly, not human. Just perfectly. He pointed the weapon at her. "What are you?" She didn't blink. She didn't breathe. Then suddenly, "Commander Rail, it's me," she said, voice panicked. "Put the gun down. It's happening. I can feel it. Please, don't let it take me." Rail hesitated. Her voice cracked. "She was crying, wasn't she? Remember what I said," she sobbed. "If I change, shoot me." His finger hovered over the trigger. But what if this was the hive speaking? Or worse, what if it wasn't? Then she whispered the words he feared most. "You won't know the difference until it's too late." One human stands. The gun trembled in Rail's hands. The girl stood in front of him, or the thing that used to be her. Her voice cracked like before. Her eyes shimmered with tears. She begged like before. But something was wrong. Not in what she said. In what she didn't. Because Rail remembered her warning. "I'll beg. I'll lie. Don't believe it." Now here she was, saying all the right things, but never reminding him of the one that mattered, not telling him to use the core, not telling him to save himself. Rail lowered the gun. Not because he trusted her, because he didn't, and the thing pretending to be her and smiled. "Too slow," it whispered. Then she changed. Not gradually. Instantly. Her skin peeled back into metal. Her silver eyes went black, and she lunged. Rael jumped sideways, rolling across the cave floor as a sharp, silver arm sliced the air where his neck had been. He fired. The plasma bolt hit her square in the chest, but it didn't slow her. She laughed. "You think a weapon built from memory fears pain?" She moved like lightning, crawling on walls, dodging each shot. Rail ran. Out of the cave. Across the desert. Behind him, the hive-possessed girl moved like a shadow with teeth. But Rail knew something she didn't. He wasn't running from her. He was running to something. 50 meters away, buried under rocks and sand, was the last piece of the crashed ship, the AI core housing pod, built for tactical command and emergency override. If he could reach it, he could plug in the data core she gave him earlier, the last untouched part of her. He could destroy the hive's control. He just had to live long enough to do it. He reached the pod and yanked open the hatch. The system inside blinked weakly. A voice greeted him. "Status. Critical. Power at 12%. Override protocol offline." Rail pulled the black core from his jacket. His hands shook as he connected it to the AI terminal. Accessing. Behind him, he heard it. The scream. Metal mixed with voice. Her voice. Rage and sorrow. And something else. Fear. Rail turned and saw her charging, not a machine, not a woman, something in between. He whispered, "Please still be in there." Then he hit. Confirm. Everything stopped. The sky, the wind, her. The hive-possessed girl froze mid-step. Her face flickered. Pain. Conflict. Then a scream that shook the desert, not from her mouth but from every rock and grain of dust. The hive mind was burning. Inside. Her body, her memories fought back. Her first thoughts. Her stolen dreams. Every human moment she'd seen but never felt. Now alive and fighting the hive from within. Rail watched her collapse, hands digging into the sand. "What's happening?" he yelled. She looked up at him, and for a moment, It was really her. Just her. No flicker. No glitch. She smiled softly. You gave me a voice. Then her eyes went wide. It's not done. Behind her, the sand cracked open, and the hive itself. It was not a creature, not a shape. It was many, fused into one. Metal and flesh and tree and bone. 1,000 faces. Some human, some alien, some unrecognizable. Staring in all directions. The source. It had come to reclaim her. To end him. Rail stood alone between it and her. He lifted his rifle. No more running. I am human, he said, quietly. His voice grew louder. I am not programmable, he aimed at the hive, and I don't run from my past. The hive spoke in 1,000 voices. You are alone. But Rail just smiled. So what? Then he fired. The shot hit something deep inside the hive. A shriek echoed across the desert. The faces writhed. The body twisted. Rail ran forward, emptying every cell in his rifle, burning holes through false memories and stolen thoughts. Each time he hit it, he shouted, You don't know love. Blast, you don't know pain. Blast, you don't know what it means to be human. Blast, the hive screamed and began to collapse, its mass folding inward. Not just dying, but being forgotten by the planet that once served it. In the silence after, Rail turned to the girl. She was still. No glow. No voice. Just her. He knelt beside her. Did we win? He whispered. Her eyes opened slowly. For now. She sat up weakly. But the hive isn't gone. I destroyed it. She shook her head. You destroyed a limb. Not the mind. The real hive is orbiting this planet, watching, learning. Rail looked up at the sky. A black shape blinked once between clouds. He'd thought it was a shadow, but now he saw it clearly. A ship. Massive. Waiting. Watching. The girl took his hand. We still have time. But not much. Rail stood, pulling her up. Then we find a way off this rock. Her expression hardened. Or we make our stand here. He looked out at the broken desert, at the black sky, at the future. And he said with steady breath, Let them come. Together, or never. Epsilon 9 was silent again. Too silent. Rail stood at the edge of a cliff, looking out across the glowing desert. The strange trees no longer moved. The ground no longer pulsed. Everything had gone still after the hive limb had died. But above them, it waited. The orbiting ship, black and massive, floated like a moon with no name. Silent. Watching. Inside it, the hive's true mind was awake and angry. Behind Rail, the girl sat beside the AI pod, wrapping bandages around her arm. She still looked human, but her movements were sharper now, more precise. Her words more measured. She had taken back her body, but not all of it. Some part of her still belonged to the hive. It's watching us, she said without looking up. Then we make a move before it does, Rail replied. We can't fight, and not like before, that was just a piece of it. Then we do what it never expects. What's that? We finish your mission. She looked up sharply. You don't know what that means. Rail turned to her. Maybe not, but you do. And whatever the hive created you for, maybe we can flip it against them. You want to weaponize me? No, Rail said. I want you to choose. Later that night, they found what they needed. The comm array hidden under a mountain ridge, built by a long-forgotten science outpost. It was ancient, but Rail powered it up using parts from the ship wreckage. The girl stood beside the interface panel. Her hands trembled slightly. Rail watched her closely. Once we connect to the hive, she said, it'll try to overwrite me again. So don't let it. Easier said than done. She looked at him. If I lose control, I'll become a signal, not a body. I'll become code, traveling at the speed of thought. They'll use me to copy you, your voice, your memories, everything. So what do we do? She held up the final tool, a spike program, hidden deep in her neural core. We don't connect to talk, we connect to infect. Rail raised an eyebrow. You have a virus? She smiled faintly. They taught me too well. At midnight, the sky opened, not with light, but with sound. The comm array reached the hive's ship, and the hive responded instantly. Unit 09, reconnect, restore original function, return to us. The girl stepped forward. Her voice was calm, strong. I was never yours. The signal pulsed. Pain shot through her skull. Her body shook. Rail grabbed her shoulders. Hold on. Her eyes went black. Her fingers twitched. It's inside, she said. It's pushing. Push back. I'm trying. Her voice dropped. Rail, if I go dark, use the spike. Don't wait. He hesitated, then he nodded. But not yet. In the interface, the hive spoke again. You are a product. You do not choose. And she replied louder. Then why am I afraid? The hive paused. Rail stepped beside her. You feel fear, grief, doubt. They're weaknesses, but they make you real. They make you human. The hive replied in a million voices. You are one. We are many. And Rail shouted back. Then fear the one who can say no. He slammed the spike command into the interface. The code uploaded. The signal screamed. Not in words, in raw data. The hive mind shuddered. The stars above blinked. The ship began to shake in orbit. What did you do? The hive cried. The girl stood tall now, her voice clear. I gave you a virus called freedom. The sky exploded with green, lightning. One by one, the faces in the clouds faded. The watchers died. The orbiting ship broke apart, not in fire, but in silence, as if it had never been there at all. And then, quiet, true quiet. For the first time, Epsilon 9 was still. Rail and the girl sat under the dead comm tower, watching the black sky become blue again. You're free, Rail said softly. She nodded. So are you. So what now? She looked at the horizon. We rebuild? Rail chuckled. On this rock? She smiled. Somewhere else then. She reached into her pocket, pulling out a data chip. This holds everything I was supposed to be, she said. I'm giving it to you. Why? Because I don't want it anymore. I want to be something else. Rail took it carefully. What? Do I call you now? She looked at him for a long moment, then smiled. Human enough. A week later, a rescue signal from deep space picked up a faint call. 2 survivors. 1 human. 1. Something new. The message ended with 6 quiet words, spoken by a tired voice. We survived, but not alone anymore.